Welcome back into Extra. Well, we are going to the experts this morning with questions on a new illness that's affecting dogs across the country. I'm concerned. I have 2 dogs at home. I'm sure you are too. If you have pets, you may have seen this on the news or on social media. So we're going to bring in Dr. Alexa O'Daniel, an Auburn alum 2 times, who now works for Veterinary Emergency Group. Dr. O'Daniel, thank you so much for joining us this morning from Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, of course. It's nice to be here. Thank you for having us. I know this has been a little bit of a scary time, especially with the holidays coming up and everyone traveling. Having a kind of disease outbreak like this that we don't know everything about, to be totally honest. Right now, the information that we do have is that we're dealing with a canine respiratory disease outbreak. What exactly that means, we've seen in states more so Oregon, Colorado, Massachusetts, and now that everyone's traveling for the holidays, we're seeing this disease kind of come down south. In terms of what is the causative agent, we don't exactly know, but it behaves really, really similarly to other canine respiratory diseases that we've seen in the past. For owners, important things to look out for: sneezing, coughing, changes in breathing patterns, discharge from both the eyes and the nose. Those are all things that we do recommend having your veterinarian taking a look at. I know for me, I do have a dog as well, as most of us do. And so, making the appropriate arrangements for the holiday season. So boarding facilities, kennels, groomers, daycares, those are all kind of high exposure environments for our dogs. And so making sure that we're up to date on vaccinations as best that we can be, and trying to kind of reduce those scenarios if we can.
When you mention vaccinations, is that something like you have your obvious ones that are required, but also are you talking about like the dog influenza vaccines and other respiratory vaccines that are recommended, especially if you do take your dogs to the borders?
Exactly. So the information that we do have now, so the problem with this virus is that when we're sending out diagnostic samples, they're not coming back like the standard respiratory diseases that we see. However, we do think canine influenza, has something to do with what we're seeing in this outbreak. So the best recommendation that we do have, the kennel cough vaccination or Bordetella, and canine influenza. I actually just made my dog's appointment for next week to get boosters of both of those vaccinations. So as a veterinarian, I would urge you to consider both of those.
Going back to the signs that you said to look out for, the coughing, the sneezing, trouble breathing, the discharge from the eyes and nose, would the discharge look any different than, say, if you have a smaller dog that has the tears that come out of their eyes?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Usually the discharge that we're seeing is going to be a little bit colored. So more of like a yellow greenish discharge, or things to look out for. In this disease process, there's kind of 3 main categories. So we have the dogs that just have a cough for about 6 to 8 weeks and recover. We have another group of dogs that are going to have this chronic pneumonia. And then the last group of dogs are the ones that we're seeing kind of acutely sick. So kind of as you're talking about, it's never too early to take your pet to see a veterinarian, make sure the chest looks okay on some x-rays, just to kind of be as cautious as you can.
Well, thank you so much. The words mysterious have been, circulating, but if we just look out for the signs and be diligent, you think this is something that we don't need to necessarily panic over, just stay, vigilant with your pets.
Yeah, I mean, I think being cautious and not living in fear, I think is a good way to look at it. Just being extra careful when you are boarding or going to dog parks. I would just try to reduce that as much as you can for the holiday season when we know people are traveling from different areas.
All right, well, Dr. Alexa O'Daniel, thank you so much for your time. I know this is important to a lot of people that I know, and I know they're going to really enjoy hearing the information from you. So thank you for taking the time out of your day.